This Friday marks the return of Fury FC to UFC Fight Pass, and they got a stacked card. And one of the brightest prospects on the card is joining me now here on Extra Rounds is Michael Blockhus. 3-0, undefeated, coming off your first decision victory as a professional in the LFA. What did you take away from that learning experience, Michael?
It was good, especially to get 3 5-minute rounds in, and that kid was a very underrated opponent by a lot of people. I think me and my team knew he was going to be good, and he's got a great skill set, and I think he's racked off a bunch of wins since I fought him. So yeah, maybe we'll run into each other again down the road.
Well, I think you hit on the real sort of experience to be gained from that, and is sometimes guys aren't going to go away. You've been pretty good with the ground and pound, stopping people, inside the distance. But there's something to be said about getting that cage time. And did you feel good in the latter part of that fight?
Yeah, for sure. I controlled a lot of the fight. Even on the feet, my distance was well. Like, he was landing some shots, but they weren't nothing crazy. I don't even know what I had for ground control. As most of the fight was ground control, and I'm still able to get some strikes. And actually, I threw in like 3 submission attempts and was pretty close on a couple of them. So yeah, it was good.
People are obviously tuned into you and your development. You have a extensive wrestling career, standout wrestler now, getting into mixed martial arts. And I'm curious, do you still feel like a wrestler out there? Do you feel like a mixed martial artist, or is it, you can teach a old dog new tricks, but you're still a wrestler at the end of the day?
Yeah. I'll never stray away from wrestling, and a lot of the top guys that have wrestled will tell you, like, don't get a big head about it. Like, you stay where you come from is
Right.
where I'm at. But yeah, my MMA skills have developed a lot, especially down in Killcliff in Florida. I mean, you got guys all over the place and great coaches, so they've developed a lot even since the fight. So I'm excited to show what I got.
Yeah, that's the thing I think that is most exciting about someone like yourself. Like, obviously, you've been competing and you're used to everything that comes with that. But now in a new skill set, being an MMA fighter, it's safe to say that you're adding and learning. And each time out, even if it's only been, a few months, I got to assume that there are, pages added to your book that we haven't seen yet. And you got to be almost a reinvented fighter in a lot of ways, or just adding more skills to where if someone's looking at your previous fight as a representative of what you bring, sure, it'll represent some of it, but you're probably still adding more skills that we have not even had a chance to see yet.
Yeah, the same thing. Like, I've watched film on obviously the guy I'm fighting, but you got to realize, like, they've also been getting better since they've last fought. So that's in my head. I mean, you said it right on. So yeah, they have to think that I'm a better fighter, and I think that they're a better fighter. So
Last time it was the LFA cage. Now you make your Fury FC debut. What are your thoughts on Fury? I've mentioned in the past that it's one of the more prominent promotions here on Fight Pass. A lot of prospects like yourself, they're really providing that avenue and pipeline to the UFC. Are you excited to fight for Fury?
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's well known too. I was walking around the mall today, and some kid recognized my ears and was like, "What do you do?" And said I was fighting, and said I was fighting for Fury Friday, and his eyes lit up like, "Fury? You know Fury already?" I was like, "Yeah." So they have obviously a well-known promotion, and I'm excited to work with them and develop my career with them and to get into the UFC down the road. So I think it's a great promotion.
Let's talk about your progression, because obviously if you keep, that O intact and you keep winning and do so where we see more and more, tools added to the toolbox, that call's going to come eventually. Is there a time period? Is there a right sort of way you want to get to the octagon?
I wouldn't. I say I just trust in my coaches. I mean, I'm training under Robbie Lawler and Henry Hooft, Nick Lentz, a lot of these guys that they've been there and they've done it, and they kind of know the timeline and when it's right. So I'm kind of just putting my trust in them. So who knows? Maybe it's next fall in the Contender Series, or maybe I'll just stay on for ready for a short notice in the next year. So honestly, I'm just going to keep on developing, and I'm improving at a much faster pace than a lot of people do. So I'm excited, and just see where this journey takes us.
We've talked about your collegiate wrestling career. To get at that level, you have to be grinding constantly, never really walk away from the mat. You're living a lifestyle. I assume the same is to be said for your mixed martial arts career. How have you been able to sort of, stay motivated without getting burnt out? Because you mentioned guys like Nick Lentz, Robbie Lawler, their coaches, they're not necessarily grinding in the same way that a training partner would. But I assume neither of those guys are letting you get away from the gym for too long in between fights either.
No, I actually was supposed to fight a couple months ago, so I've been in a fight camp for quite a while now, and just always staying ready. It's part of being a professional athlete. Even with wrestling, I was wrestling year round. I would do freestyle in the summer, so I'm really always ready. You take your breaks here and there to just better for your mental health, and I'm excited. You have to have goals and start chasing them to not burn out, I would say. So that's where I'm at right now. I want to be a UFC champion, so right now I'm just kind of going around the path to get there.
How much of a mixed martial arts fan are you? Are you watching the fights, week in, week out, or are you kind of focused on your own career?
I wouldn't say week in, week out. I struggle staying up for them because I'm not really a night owl, but no, I've been following it for quite a while, and I've always been a fan of MMA. Did I think I was going to do it down the road as a career path when I was younger? No. I wouldn't say that hit reality until I was about a junior in college up in Minnesota, just training with some guys for fun. And, I fell in love with it, hitting some mitts, and obviously developed my skills since then. So, I'm an MMA fan now. Like, obviously, I look up to a lot of the guys, and they help kickstart my career. Especially, I get to train around UFC, Bellator, PFL guys all around in my gym that have been at the top level. So, it's good.
Let's talk about your opponent, Damian Orenday, 1-1 as a pro. What do you know about him? What do you expect come Friday?
Yeah, I think he's got a good jiu-jitsu background. Honestly, I'm just trusting in my skills and my skill set, and I'm going to be aware of what he does from film and just like study, But yeah, I'm ultimately going to stick to my game plan. I won't really let, I guess, people know what it is. You'll just see it in the cage. I'm just going to be aware. Like, you got to be aware and think that you can't underlook an opponent, right? You got to just think that they're at the level you are. So that's where I am at going into the fight.
All right. Well, if people want to watch it, they need to be locked on UFC Fight Pass this Friday night. Michael Blockhus, he takes the Fury FC cage in his promotional debut, fourth pro fight of his young career, and we'll be tuned in. Michael, appreciate the time. Best of luck moving forward, and I'm sure we'll be chatting again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.